The rain beat down on the roof of Tony's beat-up Toyota Corolla. It was a familiar sound, like 1,000 tiny hammers. Each drop a reminder of why he pushed on, why he braved nights like this. For Lisa, his little sister, she was all he had left. Lisa was special. She dreamed in colors nobody else could see. She saw music in the wind. But those gifts came with a price. Expensive treatments, doctors who spoke in riddles. Tony didn't understand most of it. He just understood that Lisa needed him, and that meant delivering pizzas, even on nights like this. He glanced at the photo taped to his dashboard. Lisa, with her gap-toothed grin, holding a crayon drawing of a rainbow. It fueled him, kept him going when his eyelids felt heavy and his stomach growled. One more delivery. Then home to ramen noodles and reruns with Lisa. He could almost taste her laughter, bright and clear against the storm raging outside. The wind howled like a banshee, whipping the rain into a frenzy. Thunder rattled the small car, making the windows vibrate. Streetlights flickered, casting long, dancing shadows across the slick asphalt. The city, usually alive with noise and light, felt subdued, holding its breath. Tony squinted at the address on the crumpled receipt. 237 Mulberry Lane, an upscale neighborhood, with houses hidden behind tall hedges and wrought iron gates. An unusual place for a pizza order on a night like this. He shrugged. Rich people got hungry too. He pulled up to the curb, the headlights illuminating a cobblestone driveway. The house loomed large, a Victorian mansion with dark windows that seemed to stare back at him. There was an unsettling stillness about the place, a silence that felt heavier than the storm. He grabbed the pizza, its warmth a small comfort against the chill seeping into his bones. The porch light was off, casting deep shadows across the heavy oak door. Odd. He checked the address again. Maybe they were asleep already? He rang the bell, the sound swallowed by the storm. No answer. As he turned to leave, he noticed something strange. The door wasn't fully closed. A sliver of darkness beckoned from within. Maybe they were busy, hadn't heard the bell over the storm. He hesitated, then gave the door a gentle push. It creaked open, revealing a dimly lit hallway. "Hello?" he called out, his voice hesitant. "Delivery!" Only silence greeted him. He stepped inside, placing the pizza on a small table by the door. A strange feeling washed over him, a prickle of unease on the back of his neck. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Terribly wrong. He turned to leave, his hand reaching for the doorknob. That's when he saw it. A flicker of movement at the end of the hallway, a flash of red. He froze, holding his breath. Was someone there? Had he imagined it? The red appeared again, this time closer. He strained to see through the dim light. A woman, her back to him, was walking slowly towards him. She was tall and slender, dressed in a long black dress that flowed behind her like liquid night, and in her hand, she held a red umbrella. His heart pounded in his chest. Why was she inside? And what was with the umbrella? It wasn't raining inside the house. He felt a chill run down his spine, a feeling of dread he couldn't shake off. Something about the woman, the way she moved, sent a shiver of fear through him. The woman stopped just within the circle of light spilling from the doorway. He still couldn't see her face, only the back of her head, her long dark hair cascading down her back like a silken waterfall. She stood there, motionless, as if waiting for something. And then it hit him. He'd seen that red umbrella before. Not in person, but in the news. The Red Umbrella Lady, that's what they called her. A serial killer who preyed on unsuspecting victims. Her calling card, a bright red umbrella left at the scene of the crime. His blood ran cold. This couldn't be happening. It was just a story, an urban legend people whispered about. He must be mistaken. It couldn't be her, could it? The woman took a step closer and the red umbrella tilted slightly, catching the light. His breath caught in his throat. He had to get out of there, now. He fumbled for the doorknob, his fingers slick with sweat. The woman took another step, and he could hear the soft click of her heels against the hardwood floor. The sound was like a hammer blow to his chest, stealing his breath. She stopped again, so close he could feel the heat radiating from her body. He didn't dare breathe, didn't dare move a muscle. Fear, cold and paralyzing, gripped him in its icy claws. And then she spoke, her voice a low, husky whisper that seemed to slither around him. "You forgot something." Her hand, tipped with blood-red nails, reached out from the shadows and gently touched the pizza box. He stared at her hand, his mind screaming at him to run, to scream, to do anything but stand there. But his body refused to obey. He was frozen, trapped in a nightmare. And then he saw it, the smile. It spread slowly across her face, a grotesque parody of warmth and welcome. Her teeth, white and sharp, gleamed in the dim light. It wasn't a human smile. It was the smile of a predator, savoring the terror of its prey. Suddenly, the sound of sirens sliced through the night, growing louder with each passing second. The woman's smile faltered, her eyes flicking towards the sound. For a moment, their eyes met. Hers were cold, empty, devoid of any emotion that would betray a human soul. He wanted to scream, to break free from her gaze, but he couldn't. It was like staring into the abyss itself. He blinked, and she was gone. Vanished into thin air. The sirens were getting closer, the sound echoing through the empty house. He stumbled back, his legs finally finding their strength. He had to get out of there. He had to tell someone what he had seen. He burst out of the house and into the storm, the rain a physical assault against his skin. He ran, his lungs burning, his legs screaming in protest. He didn't stop until he reached his car, fumbling for his phone with shaking hands. He had to call the police. He had to tell them about the woman, the umbrella, the smile. The police arrived within minutes, their faces grim as they listened to his story. He could see the skepticism in their eyes, the doubt that he tried to ignore. They entered the house, their footsteps heavy and measured. He waited, his heart pounding against his ribs, his mind replaying the encounter over and over. He heard a gasp from inside the house, followed by a flurry of activity. Minutes later, an officer emerged, his face pale. He approached Tony, his gaze filled with a mixture of horror and disbelief. "We found the homeowner," the officer said, his voice tight. "He's dead." The next thing Tony knew, he was lying in a hospital bed, his body aching, his mind numb. The doctor said he was suffering from shock, that he'd been lucky to escape with his life. They didn't believe his story about the woman, the umbrella, the smile. They said it was the trauma, that his mind was playing tricks on him. But he knew the truth. He'd seen the look in her eyes, the cold, calculating gaze of a predator. He knew she was still out there, lurking in the shadows, the red umbrella her silent promise of death. The police might not believe him, but he knew the truth. The red umbrella lady was still out there, and she was hunting.